Friday. It's a two-man booth, 8 games going down. Myself and we got to add, your King Yahoo. What are you, Mr. Yahoo? What's your official term on Yahoo? Kid Yahoo. Yeah, good Lord, yeah. Ironically named Kid Yahoo. Come on, who are we kidding? Like Kid Poker. Kid Poker is like 40, isn't he?
It's the exact same concept.
You're also now King Slots, right? You're taking down the slots there in Boston. You got some gambling there.
As you know, night by night things change.
Oh boy!
So I'll just give it to you straight. I'm coming off about a week-long All-Star break, complete gambling binge, where Lauren let me go to the casino every single night, which was like I couldn't believe it. Once she went to sleep with Dylan, the baby, and I just went nuts over there. So I hit a royal flush on video poker. That's like a nemesis of mine, video poker from back in the day.
It's fun.
And I hit a royal, and that got the juices flowing. I hit another royal, so I hit 2 royals in 3 days, and barely playing. But I lost last night. I ended up breaking even. I dumped money away last night in a video poker machine that I won playing Baccarat, which was stupid. But all in all, I never had a losing night. The closest was last night where I barely won anything because I degened at like 1 a.m. But that's what I did over the All-Star break.
Bobby was on yesterday talking about how you showed him the ropes as far as how to play Baccarat. So the story checks out. Did you give him a call? I
don't think he quite comprehended it.
Yeah, he probably just tells whatever you're doing.
Yeah, even though it's it's intimidating, but it's the easiest game in the world. But it looks intimidating from the outside.
It's you bet on the banker or you bet on the player.
Yeah, so it's essentially black or red, and it's like war almost. It's like just 2 cards here, 2 cards there. One win, one loses, but there's you take a card based on. I mean, it's automatic. You don't get to choose whether you take a card or not.
Yeah,
it's just there's different rules for getting another card, and it's the closest to 9. In face cards and 10s are all worth 0, so it's just like 9 is the highest you can get with your 2 or 3 card hand. But there's a way to play it. There's ways that it's meaningless, but they try, you'll see people writing things down. Now it's usually on screens where they keep track of all the hand. It's all they're doing is just following a pattern. It just gives you something to like all play together at the same. You know what I mean? Like,
there's
always that one guy. So it's like you put down like people like the table. It's like $500 on banker, $400 on banker, $200 on banker, and there's always like one guy who's like $50 on player. You know what I mean? And it's like
right?
It's like, what are you? Yeah, it's like, what are you doing, buddy? Like
we're in this together. It's a group effort, and then you're here mushing everybody.
Yeah.
The cooler William H. Macy goes ahead and he wins his $50, and everybody else gets shafted, right?
Yeah.
I know you're a fan of that movie. That's why I reference it. You're a fan of the cooler.
Yeah.
We discussed.
It kind of felt like that when they play like depressing music, like and you're walking around. The casino is a lot of emotions go through, like your highs, there's lows, there's life question. You start questioning your own, psyche.
There's oxygen being pumped into the room.
And then you're analyzing other people. This guy who sits down next to you or whatever.
It's a good, as like people watching goes. It's a good people watching spot.
Oh, I got a great people watching photo here. I'm gonna try. This is. I'm gonna try to upload this in Slack to Steve. This picture and see if he can put it on the screen. But this is like the Boston Encore. This is the sports book. This is the guy in the sports book.
Oh, he's zooming in on somebody. I don't know if we want to put somebody on blast and kind of goof on them.
We don't see their face.
They're just living their best life and then, gambling on whatever.
We don't see their face. So,
all right. We'll leave this discussion to producers.
So this, and for reference for Steve, if he's listening, I'm sure he is. This guy was like probably 60 years old.
Is this your goal in so many years? You want to be this guy?
Yeah, this is the dream. This is the this is the life I chose.
Or at the the casino, just betting whatever, right there next to Biff Tannen.
Yeah.
8-gamer, yeah, no shenanigans. We got plenty of time to knock us out. Of course, we handed off to the Crunch Time crew a little bit earlier these days, 6:15-ish. You got cheap interologist Kevin Roth holding that down. I believe it's Andre talking some tournaments, and you got Andy Means. Andy Means basically, he's not going to spoon feed it to you, but he's basically building your cash game if you're paying attention. You absolutely want to stay tuned for Crunch Time, if nothing else. Interesting news dropped throughout the day. Giannis Antetokounmpo got a midday upgrade up to questionable. He was doubtful earlier in the day. A downgrade for SGA, back half of back-to-back. OKC traveling from Utah, where they lost in overtime, played an overtime game. And SGA legit did ding his ankle last night, played through it. He's questionable now in a game versus Phoenix. Other body parts we're expecting. He's officially questionable. Mitch Rob looks like he's likely to come back tonight. Midday downgrade for Golden State's Draymond Green. Scheduled victory in theory against the Rockets. The Rockets are horrendous. We'll get to that game soon enough. That's a late game hammer, so we probably won't have Golden State clarity. It is a back half of back-to-back. Klay Thompson is playing back halves these days. They're both halves of the back-to-back. But as of now, nothing goofy there. But Draymond did get the Q tag. Big picture as far as this slate, running some optimal stuff. A lot of Minnesota. Minnesota, awesome matchup against Charlotte. Some pretty good prices as well, too. Obviously, Russell's gone. I don't think salaries have fully adjusted. Cat will be back soon at some point, maybe the last 10 games or so of the season they're talking, maybe down the stretch. And Houston's getting some love because they're pretty cheap. And that's a tricky one because I guess we'll talk about it. I'm curious, your overall thoughts as far as this slate. And there's a Jordan Poole sneaking in. Awesome matchup for Poole. Poole party on layaway for sure. If not Poole, Clay. So many good. Just a great opportunity for threes against Houston. We'll dig into that later as well. But what do you have from here as far as your general overview on the slate? Music? What am I hearing?
I don't know. What, a baby maybe?
Oh, maybe. I feel like I'm hearing some music, but maybe that's just my end. I'm not really sure what's going on. But continue. Go ahead.
You're probably hearing the white noise machine. Just let it slide. All right.
Well, that's what it was. Okay. My ears are very sensitive. Yeah, go for it.
All right. I mean, I'll try to go and turn it, but you put me on the spot here, so I got to talk. So we got the game environment. It's Minnesota Charlotte, right, where the pricing is fine. It's also like the nut matchup for both. Should play at a blistering fast pace. Should be somewhat competitive. Hopefully, the Hornets 4th in pace, Wolves 5th in pace. Tons of peripherals in there. The Hornets still are 29th in opponent blocks. The Wolves are 28th in opponent steals. They both don't defend the 3-point line well, and they're both. The Hornets are one of the worst defenses in the league, 24th defensive rating. Wolves a little bit better there, but certainly have had their lapses at times. And then the pricing is pretty ridiculous in some of these guys, like Kyle Anderson, like Rudy Gobert, depending on the site. So that's kind of where you can. But then you got all this value on Houston with no ball handler. Basically it's not only their primary ball handler's gone, but it's also their primary scoring. So I think it's going to, everything's going to flow through Şengün, but it's not the easiest of matchups there. And then we get the cheap guys like Christopher Tate, KJ Martin, Tari Eason. Maybe he'll do one of those 6 offensive rebounds and a putback there. So that's always in play. And then there's probably some good spots that are going to be under-owned because of all of this. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting slate. And Giannis just, through what we thought we were all expecting because he was doubtful out. Now he's upgraded to questionable. Typically that means they're on track to play, but the Bucks are also weird about their injury reports. So I don't really know what to make of it at this point, but I guess we got to assume he's going to play.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I feel like he's going to play, but I don't know. It's an ESPN game as well, for what it's worth. First half of the ESPN doubleheader. You mentioned Houston. Yeah, they're without 2 of their top scorers, obviously. Matchup against Golden State. We're projecting Ty Washington to start, but certainly that could be Deshaun Nix to start there for Houston. I don't know if it's better or not better to start if you think this game's going to blow out. I was trying to figure out, who are the 5 guys in the courts if this game does fully blow out. If I was trying to figure out if Tari Eason would be one of those 5 guys, and I'm not certain he would be because they still have enough bodies. Like they have Kaminsky and like Darius Days and Boban, and Garuba would probably play. So I don't know. Just trying to figure, because I think that's a potential out for Eason. If you think that game blows out, I think Eason's a guy that could theoretically mop up, but I'm not sure if he's going to fully mop up. And our projections love, you mentioned it, Şengün, and I'm torn on that one as well because I kind of think Golden State can just mollywop the Houston Rockets, especially if Draymond goes. And the midday downgrade there, because if Draymond goes and he helps kind of shut down Şengün, where is the offense going to come from in this Houston team? It's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really rough. So in Golden State is going to hit so many threes against Houston. Unless 3-point variance is not in their favor, this feels like a big-time blowout. It's only a 10-point line or 10.5-point line. I did wager on Golden State for what it's worth. I am in a legal state, and I've having some fun. Bet a lot of things today. A lot of bets out there. I'll kind of sprinkle them on through as we go through it. Anything else of notes as far as the slate that we should mention before we kind of dive in?
Well, just on that game, with Draymond now downgraded to questionable, it would seem like he's probably not going to play, and that's a big bonus for Şengün.
Yeah, but we've seen Draymond midday downgrade down to questionable and then play.
We've seen everything, of course. Yeah.
We've seen different varieties of this, so I have no idea if he's going to play or not. But I would guess he's out if they give him the midday downgrade back half of a back-to-back, but I don't know. I have no clue, and it's late. And that's kind of one of my first points. Not that this necessarily applies to a 9 o'clock game. I should say 9 o'clock Central Time. 10 o'clock on the East Coast there, Houston visiting Golden State. But the very first game is only one game at 7 o'clock, and I think I'm throwing it out. I'm curious to get your take. Going to get more. We'll see what when news comes in as far as Giannis and some other pieces out there that are questionable. But New York is visiting Washington. Only 7 o'clock game on the board. 227 is a total. Washington is a 1-point favorite here. Mitch Robb, not officially in, but it seems likely he's going to play. He's officially questionable to come back, which means that New York will be fully healthy. Washington got Bradley Beal. He's in. He's available with his knee. So Washington is fully healthy. So 2 teams that are fully healthy, and everybody's kind of priced where they should be, if not more than they should be. I don't have a lot of interest in this game. If you're running 150, sure. If you want to get sprinkles of Randall, and Brunson Burner has been incredible. He's awesome. But he's not a priority for me today. Zinger, revenge. If you want to play that card, by all means, have some fun with it. But I don't really have a lot of interest in this first game. Change my mind.
Yeah, I don't either. The only one that I was thinking about potentially playing today was Kyle Kuzma. For some reason, he's gone nuclear against the Knicks in the last 2 times they faced each other this season, and he must be drawing RJ Barrett is what's probably happened. I would have to look in the play tracking, but that's what I would assume. But anyway, I mean, he went for 59 and 61 the last 2 times they played, so he would be the only guy. But I was excited about him with the prospect of Beal not playing, but with Beal going to give it a go, that certainly takes away from everybody and makes this whole game less interesting. Like you said, I think Brunson is fine. I think Randall is fine. Kuzma would be my preferred guy. And, I mean, if you want to play the Porzingis revenge spot, go for it. But 9,500, even if he does have a solid game, 9,500 is a little tough.
DK, the only one getting ownership there is RJ Barrett at 13%. That's probably positional as well, being a small forward. Nobody getting beyond 8%. Jalen Brunson is 7 and change. Of course, this stuff is fluid. Projections change the closer we get to lock, but this is as of 5 o'clock or so on the East Coast. Fanduel, it is worth noting that Brunson is getting 24%, big boy number, at 8.4K. The price is cheaper. So, yeah, I'm okay with playing some Brunson on Fanduel. Personally, I'm not playing Fanduel tonight, just running the one site, DK. So I don't have to worry about that. Barrett getting 15%, Randall at 10, down to 9.3. But, yeah, I'm crossing this game out. by all means, chat. Feel free to chime in. Tell me otherwise, whatever you want us to talk about. It is an interactive show as we take y'all up to the crunch time portion, which is about about an hour away or so. We got 7 more games to go. Hit that like button while you're just hanging out there. Kindly hit that like button. Subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Smash the like button. Press the like button. Whatever your adjective is. Whatever works for you. That works for me as well. Okay. 7:30 when the slate starts for myself. Cleveland versus Atlanta. 227.5 is the total. Atlanta is a 1-point favorite here. Atlanta just firing their coach. If you want to build off that narrative, there's rumors out there that Trae Young had something to do with that. He seems to deny that, but whatever. If you want to speculate any sort of angle on that, he's good to go. He was out for personal reasons. He's good to go, but Atlanta is still without John Collins, concussed. Ricky Rubio is good to go after being rested off the back-to-back. This is the back half of a back-to-back for Cleveland. Jetty Osman is questionable with his back. We saw Mobley really get off yesterday. I think he's got a decent chance to bring that momentum against Atlanta as well. Atlanta a little bit undersized, the absence of Collins. They do have Capella, but, they got 2 big boys there, Cleveland, basically at all times with Allen and Mobley. I think that's the most appealing piece in this game, Evan Mobley. That's where I would start. Where would you start?
Yeah, from a pricing standpoint, Evan Mobley would be the guy. So first of all, it's going to be tough to get to many Hawks here. I mean, you want the Hawks potentially for that narrative. They should come out and play as best as they possibly can this evening. It's the new coaching narrative. But this is just not the right matchup for it. I mean, this is the last, the slowest paced team in the league, the Cavs, the top defensive in the league, the Cavs. And there's not a lot of impactful injury stuff. I mean, Collins a little bit, but there's so I mean, I think Capella's interesting at that price, but it's like, what are we going to see for minutes out of him? I don't know.
They're still chopping with the Kungwu, right? They're not going to play them together.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have the option to put Collins at the 5, but so maybe they get a little slight uptick, but doesn't look like you're guaranteed. These guys, like, you're ever going to see 30 plus minutes out of Capella. New coach, maybe something happens, but his price is cheap enough that he's a fine play tonight. Darius Garland is cheap enough where he's a pretty good play, although he'll probably have DeJounte Murray on him. And DeJounte is just, I mean, maybe he comes out of this all fired up. I mean, he went through a really tough stretch that last week. But I don't have a ton of interest in this game. Mobley would be the guy just because of his price.
You think Sadiq Bey can lock down Mobley? That seems like a tough draw for him.
Yeah, no, it's just whether they use that matchup enough. With Mitchell, depends how Mitchell's doing, how Garland's doing. You would think it makes sense for them to go to Mobley in this spot, though.
Yeah, is Mobley's got to be close to 7 feet, right? Am I wrong in saying that? Like, is he 6'10", 6'11"? Because Bey's 6'7". This feels a little undersized.
Yeah, there's no doubt Mobley can dominate.
Yeah, I think.
But he is the third. But he is the third option on offense.
Yeah. If you look at he's slightly ahead of Allen, I'm going to guess, right? We take a look at the usage.
Oh, he's ahead of Allen, but I mean, it's definitely Garland and Mitchell are their offensive.
Yeah, Mitchell at 30%, Garland at 26%, Mobley 20% as far as usage, but. The price is. I think I'm gonna get a little bit of Mobley. If you're gonna play somebody in Atlanta, it's probably gonna be Trae Young because he theoretically can put up 40 or 50 versus anybody just bombing away. He's on the right side of 3-point variance, but the matchup isn't special. But if you're gonna pick your poison, I think I prefer shooting from the outside as opposed to working it into Capella versus Mobley and Allen. I got nothing else as far as this game. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right, my Miami Heat. This is the first half of the ESPN doubleheader at the Bucks. 222 is the total. Miami is was this drastically changed? It was like a 1.5 point line earlier before the Giannis news broke. Has Vegas reacted to this one? Am I seeing 4 points? Is that correct as far as the line? Milwaukee, a 4-point favorite. The changes here, of course, being that Giannis upgraded the questionable, not officially in, Bobby Portis is available. Jay Crowder should make his season debut. I wouldn't imagine he plays a ton, but Jay Crowder, good defensive player, good 3-and-D guy. No Pat Connaughton, he's out. Wesley Matthews is out as well. As far as Miami's pretty healthy. Hero's good to go. I think this is isn't he like a Wisconsin guy? Did he go to Wisconsin for college? Am I making that up? I feel like he did. I probably got that wrong. I'm not a college guy, but I think he's from that area. Oladipo's good to go as well. Kevin Love is signed and ready to play for the Miami Heat. I don't know about Cody Zeller. It doesn't matter. And Kyle Lowry is going to be out for a while with his knee. So this is a lot of if-then stuff. I loved Middleton as if Giannis doesn't go. I was looking at his usage really spikes. I want to pull it up here on the fly. I don't know if you have it in front of you. I think it was 38% or 37% this season without Giannis. 1.4 fantasy points per minute. I know he's at 25 minutes. Basically, that's kind of his cap. 25 last 2 games. National TV game, you get extended commercials. He's been off for almost 10 days or whatever it is. Maybe they give him an extra minute or 2. But I think that goes away if Giannis plays. Let's do the if-then stuff. Let's say Giannis out first as far as Milwaukee.
You're saying if Giannis is out?
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's in now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I wanted to hit both sides. However you want it. You can do it both ways.
1.5 to 4 point total. I think it's as good as he's playing.
Yeah.
But anyways, and Middleton would still have a cap, so you'd have to do it in the cap. So I was kind of shying away. It would have been Holiday would be my favorite. Carter would be in play. Brolo and Bobby Portis would be in play. And that would be all my interest. But I just don't really have interest in anyone but, Giannis. But I'm probably not getting to Giannis tonight anyway. So it just makes this game a lot less appealing. Kevin Love is certainly interesting at 3K. We don't know what we're going to get from a minute standpoint. You got to assume he's backing up Bam, right?
If that's it, though, we're just talking about 14 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. So but you'd think they'd be able to play him, where he wouldn't be just a backup. He can kind of, first of all, he's not a defensive presence anyway, so it doesn't really matter where you put him around there. But it's really just all about offense. So I don't know. I don't know what we'll see for minutes, but at 3K, I think he's definitely worth a shot.
So we're giving him 18 and we're giving Bam 35. So there's a little bit of overlap there. So we're giving 5 minutes of them playing together, basically. So that's interesting. And if Love's playing 18 minutes, and again, who knows how he fits in with this team, but he's certainly the guy that can theoretically put up 25 fantasy points at 3K, right?
He can shoot that 3.
But he could play 10 minutes in his first game. He was DMP CD with the last few games of Cleveland, and he also had issues.
Well, that's because they were getting rid of him, but it was kind of a crazy thing. It was weird to get rid of him too, but
yeah, I'm not exactly sure why.
If you're in contention, he's a good playoff piece. A veteran who knows who can turn it on. Yeah, good signing.
What's his name? Dean. What's the dude's name?
Dean Wade. Yeah, Dean Wade.
Yeah. Dean Wade is a kind of a younger, much worse version, but I guess he's more defensive oriented, I suppose. He fits their schemes better. He can hit threes as well, but I suppose that's a decision they made. That was interesting.
I think he's going to fit in great. The thing that Miami does really well is move the ball and get it to shooters for 3. And, they take a lot of threes. They're 10 and threes attempted on the season, and that's always been the SPO game plan, and so I think that it's worth 3K is worth the risk here tonight.
Is there a chance he starts tonight or no?
Sure, but I doubt it.
Yeah, Vincent, Hero, Martin. Hero. Well, Hero went to college in Kentucky, but born in Green Bay, so I knew it was some sort of narrative there going back to Milwaukee. Vincent, Hero, Martin, Butler, Bam Adebayo. That's our projected Miami starting lineup, and that probably is how it holds. But if Love does start, and also what's key is what's helpful is that he's got power forward eligibility, so it's not just center and center only. So, yeah, interesting. If I was running 150, I'd probably get a pinch, but If 18 minutes, if you tell me he's getting 18 minutes, I think he's live. I don't know he's getting 18 minutes, but that's, hey, somebody put a projection on that, and I'm not going to say it's wrong because
I mean, what would be the reason not to integrate him if he's hurt? Like if they got him, they signed him for a reason. They got to get him. There's not a ton of games left to get him going, and to mesh with the offense. I would think they would just start off right. I think 18 minutes is certainly reasonable. I think that there's room for more too.
We're not projecting any minutes for Duncan Robinson for what it's worth. Not saying he's going to get any. I'm just trying to think. We're giving 10 to Cody Zeller as well, who doesn't. Oh, that's interesting. So we're getting 10 to Zeller, which means we're giving a lot of minutes of Love at the 4. Yeah, okay. So the guy wasn't certain if Love's just going to be a straight backup to Bam, but that doesn't appear to be how that's going to work. He probably playing a good bit of 4 as well. So, yeah. And is Zeller officially? I guess he officially cleared, right? I didn't know that, but I guess Zeller is officially good to go.
If he's projected for minutes, he's going. He's at least available.
I
mean, I can't. He would be. I can't see how much they would play. I don't think he would be the guy they don't play. But
yeah, well, I'm not saying. I'm just trying to think minutes, the minute delegation distribution. I'm not actually thinking about.
Yeah, me too. I see. In the minutes, I have 7 minutes allocated to him. But
okay, yeah, we got 10 on him. So whatever it is, he's not useful. It's just trying to figure. Just doing the math, right? Ownership wise, by the way, for Miami. Nobody getting more than 3% ownership on DK. Jimmy Butler just lost in the slate. No Tyler Hero, which I think it's playable. I think he's playable at 2%. If I'm running 150, I would get more than 2%. I wouldn't get 12. I don't think. I think I can get a little more than 2. If you had to pick one player on Miami, would it be Love? If you're forced to pick one player,
yeah.
Context, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, we can play Jimmy Butler, no?
You can. I don't know if I will.
It's not egregious.
No.
I mean, Hero would probably be the preferred. But it's all risk. Hero's risky tonight too. But he would be my preferred guy. But Love is the first one to just use 3K, and he allows us to get all the guys we want. I mean, do we really want Tyler Hero? No. If we're max entering, we're going to take some Tyler Hero at low ownership, but that's about it.
Don Yeezy in chat says Gabe Vincent.
I think he's played them really well in the past. I bet. Let me check. He put up 45 against them on the 14th of January. I don't know.
But that was
played 40 minutes. I'm sure that was all the guys were out,
Yes. I think Butler was out or something like that. There was a couple of Gabe Vincent games earlier in the year. Mr. Richard wants to know, do we play anybody on Miami DK single entry or 3 entry max?
If you need Love to make it work, why not?
If Love is starting, I would play him. I don't know.
No, forget start. He's not going to start.
So you're saying that if you love
single entry, and if you're building a lineup and you got to use Love to get some of these other guys, I think Love is going to get you. I mean, for 3K, I think he's going to get you a minimum of 20 fantasy points. But
a minimum,
I think 20. I think he's going to play 18 plus minutes. He's usually over a fantasy point per minute. I think it's a good offense for him. He's going to shoot the 3, and I think he's going to knock some down.
Yeah, I mean, a minimum of 20 sounds like really optimistic. Because I think
I'm optimistic.
Yeah,
I might be dead wrong. He might DNP.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to play. Like you said, there's only so many games left for Miami. You want to see what you got, try to figure out some combinations. And Spo likes to tinker. Now is the time to do it. So I think they're going to use him. But he could certainly put up a 10. And I don't know how much I need the 3K is the other part of it. Because I guess if you want Giannis on the other side, and you already said you're not necessarily on Giannis, because the slate doesn't have a lot of big spends, but you can get multiple, maybe you're running like LaMelo and Edwards at each other or something like that. We'll talk about that soon enough. But I don't know if I need the 3K guys. We got some cheapies on Houston that we'll get to as well. But yeah, I'm putting that in my back pocket. You kind of convinced me that Love is more in play than I thought he was going into the slate. For what it's worth, we're giving him 20 minutes and 18 DK points at 3K. So, you know what? I just gave a refresh, and now he's 20% owned. Huh. That's what happens when you hit the refresh.
I move ownership,
You move the needle. Is that what's going on here? Or I just
we've got a lot of people have finally caught on, and we've got a team of people that watch, and they're quick to react.
So let me just double check that, because I don't know, my lineup HQ is getting all goofy on me. I don't know if it's my laptop or 20% for Love. Either maybe I just missed it before. 5 or 6% for Hero, and then everybody else is getting like 1%. Interesting. But yeah, if you tell me he's getting 20 points, or between like 16 and 28, I'll take my chances. I played 9 Blazers last night. Who am I to say I can't play Kevin Love? Did you play last night or just hit the casino?
I did not. I was going to play. So I took like a week off, and I took like a couple of days off before the All-Star break, because I was just it was just the stupid injuries were just, it's tough with a baby now. It's like I miss things because I have to like change a diaper or whatever. So I went to the casino then, and so last night, as soon as the Dame news dropped, I was like, forget it, I'm out, forget it. And I was like, I went and I bet on OKC, instead, and
that was a winner, right?
Yeah, and I nailed them live. I love betting live too. Because like whatever team you're on, and they always like start out down like 5-1 or 7-1, and the odds are like you just start cranking them live.
Portland was up.
So I ended up. I was getting like 5.5 points.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I was getting. You finish your story. I apologize.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, I was just saying. Last night I was following. This Portland was without all their good players basically. And they jumped out to a lead like 18-3 or 18-5. And I'm like, I'm going to hammer Sacramento live. And they were still like minus 3.5 or 4, down like 16. And that went away really quickly. And I hesitated. And then what happens when you hesitate? It goes away. And then they ended up winning by like 20 or so or something like that. Some would say the Kings mollywopped the Blazers. Anything else that we should know here as far
the geriatrics?
Do you think mollywopped is an old-timey word?
I think so, right?
We're bringing it back. At least I'm trying to bring it back. So this is some of the questions in chat. Christopher or Love on DK? Well, Christopher is tricky because I don't know what to do with that. Ty Washington, Josh Christopher, and maybe Knicks starts. But yeah, do you prefer Josh Christopher or Kevin Love? It's a different position, obviously, but in a vacuum, you have a preference?
Christopher, I think. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know what to make of this whole Houston.
It is interesting, by the way. If Giannis stays at 5% ownership, I think you're supposed to come in over that. I understand the matchup's not great, but we've seen great players overcome tough matchups. You mentioned Cleveland being a horrific matchup. You saw what Jokic, the Joker, did to him last night, just completely annihilated him. Triple dubbed, put up like 75 fantasy points, and Miami. You can get to Miami too. They're a good defensive team, but still doesn't mean they're impervious. Let's move on, right?
Maybe I change that. Maybe Ty Washington. Is that who's going to start?
Well, that's the thing is he didn't ask Ty Washington. He asked Christopher. I'm guessing he's got like an F spot because they're both forwards, Christopher and Love. So I'm assuming that's what's going on there. Ty Washington, some point guard, Christopher, shooting guard / small forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I guess if Ty's starting, that's who we're projecting, but I don't have a ton of confidence in that. It could be him or it could be they could dust off Knicks. We've seen that before where he draws a start and you don't feel great about it. But then you could also play the other route. It's like, well, if they start Knicks and the game gets ugly, Ty is more likely to close, or sometimes they bring back the starter if it kind
the
of
thing is that all these guys are young. Like, I can't see them like maybe like you think they're gonna rush Şengün if they're getting blown out. Maybe,
You've seen it
but
before
there's a case that they just leave them out there too.
Well, yeah, because the tankathon, they're going to lose. It's just going to happen organically. They've lost 7 games in a row. Houston, shout out to the Spurs, who now lost 15 games in a row. But Houston is currently leading the tankathon. They're number 1 in that spot. And it's pretty condensed. Houston, San Antonio, and Detroit, 2 games separate those 3, and then Charlotte right in their tails in the 4th spot. And that's it. It's those 4 teams are vying for the 3 coveted spots. But yeah, and we've seen Detroit do that as well. When Detroit's down like 90, they still let Jalen Duran play because whatever the game's over.
The young kids are like they'll take Bojan out and but they'll let the young kids play, like even if they're like this whole team is pretty much young.
All right, let's move on beyond Miami and Milwaukee. This is a super appealing game. 8:00 on the East Coast. Charlotte, Minnesota, 240.5 is a total. Minnesota is a 6-point favorite. We've kind of touched on this earlier. I think probably the best big spend on this slate for cash games for tournaments, well, depending on how you feel about GPP and ownership, is Anthony Edwards. As far as who's in and who's out, we are getting Kelly Oubre back. He has that hand. He's expected to play with his hand tonight. Cody Martin's still out, of course, for Charlotte. Minnesota, they do have Taurean Prince is questionable. Otherwise, obviously Cat's been out for a while. But yeah, this feels like the Anthony Edwards show, and it's a fun run back if you have the salary, if you can find it. Get yourself a nice little game stack, the 2 ball handlers, Edwards and LaMelo going at each other. And it's an awesome Gobert spot too. But yeah, talk to me about, let's hit the Minnesota T-Wolves first. Are you getting 2-3 Timberwolves in your lineups as of now?
Yes, I am. It's Edwards, it's Gobert, it's Anderson. Edwards is the clear, like, probably number 1 play tonight against Charlotte. He's just gonna have massive usage, and this is a defense that can't stop him. The overall game metrics are just great, like you said. This is the highest total, 241. It's a great matchup. There's no one on defense that can stop them. They really don't defend the 3-point line. They're 26 and opponent-made threes. Edwards is going to be chucking. He's going to be able to do whatever he wants in this game. Kyle Anderson is good. Hashtag he's good. And with like a lot of their, with them, it's a huge – playing with Mike Conley is a lot different than playing with D'Angelo Russell. Yeah. Mike Conley is at the stage where he's just going to defer, set up he's going to literally dribble the ball up the court, set up the offense, give the ball, go stand in the corner most of the time. He does, it's not like that all the time, but that's kind of who he is now.
16% usage, by the way, for so far this season. Yeah.
And capable of doing more, but he doesn't, so until I see it. So and he's also good in the pick and roll so that should be a plus for Gobert. So this is a much better situation for Gobert is what I'm saying. It's also a better situation for Anthony Edwards, at least where he's just going to take even more usage on than opposed to when he was sharing the court with D'Angelo Russell. And Kyle Anderson, the same too. So he's kind of their number 2 now. And they just don't increase his price ever. And he has some big games. And Taurean Prince is kind of a big deal, even though he's not. You wouldn't think it, but it just solidifies like potential a little bit higher of a ceiling for minutes for Kyle Anderson in this one. So, and the matchup is great. And he's a guy that like can pick up a bunch of steals and this game is going to there's going to be a lot of steals. This game is going to play so fast with both of these teams. Hornets 4th in pace, Wolves 5th in pace. So this game is as juicy as it gets.
So to add to the Gobert pitch, and like Conley has certainly helped out Gobert, I think Gobert's been better, and obviously they have chemistry back in their Utah days. Charlotte allows the 2nd most rebounds per game in total, 54.9, right behind OKC at 55. They play fast. and they missed a ton of shots, right? Charlotte, as far as their pace, is the 4th fastest pace in the league. Offensive efficiency for Charlotte, 2nd worst. So they're going to miss a pile of shots. There's a ton of rebounds to go around here for Gobert. And I know Gobert his blocks have fallen off pretty hard this year, but Charlotte just behind
29th.
Houston.
29th in opponent blocks per game. They are the number 1 DVP matchup for opposing centers. Like you said, this is a massive spot for Gobert. He's on Yahoo. He's like $21 tonight. He's dirt cheap. He's really cheap on DK too. This is as good of a spot for him as it gets.
I hate like trusting Gobert some nights, but this feels like, I think even Andy called in the expert survey, dropped the old Barbara Walters reference. You want to feel old, the old 2020. I mean, it feels like a great matchup. I don't know if he's going to get 20 points.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Yeah, rest in peace to Barbara Walters. You're more of a Hugh Downs guy, I believe. I feel like we've had this conversation before.
I don't even know who that is.
He would also
do. I probably do if I saw him, but I don't know the name.
He also did 2020 at some point. Yeah, I don't know who currently hosts 2020. I'm not sure. I haven't watched 2020 in many years, but I think it's still in the air. I assume it's still in the air. It's it's been around forever. How about Charlotte on the other side? Oh, by the way, you should hit on ownership. We should just kind of mention to add a little color as far as how popular this Minnesota.
This is massive chalk.
Yeah. Anderson. It could even get higher than this. Edwards at 27% feels potentially a little low. DK. Gobert at 27%, maybe a little bit low. McDaniel's getting 15%. Conley getting 15%. I don't know what his ceiling is. What does a Mike Conley ceiling game look like? But if I have 5-7 left and I'm desperate for, I love everything else. I suppose I'm willing to play Conley. And Anderson getting over 28% at 5.1K. How about the other side? How about the thought?
I would want to play LaMelo, but I mean, man, that price stuff. I mean, but like LaMelo is just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just does everything. Like he just plays a ton of minutes. He shoots from anywhere threes. He always just falls into so many steals. It's like fading him is just rough always. But like this 11K is tough. There's a lot of downside. I mean, we've seen him have 20-point fantasy games, 30-point fantasy games. And 11K now after his little run. Plus Rozier it should be back for this one, ready to go. So
Oubre back as well.
Yeah. I think I would probably for a run back. I mean, if I had all the salary in the world, obviously sure, LaMelo, but I don't. And so I think I would just take my chances with Terry, scary Terry.
Ball
I'll tell you one.
On Fanduel, by the way, he's almost 1K difference as far as the salary. Mark Williams is 5.7 on Fanduel as well, so he's getting 16%. But you talk about all this chalk in Minnesota. One way to balance that out on DK is you run Ball back in the R side again. I know salary cap reasons, but 6% Ball, right? He's obviously got to put up like 60 plus, which he certainly can. But or 50.
I mean, this is these two fast-paced teams, like these are like LaMelo Ball is the best fast-paced. Well, Giannis is probably the best fast-paced game producer in the game, but LaMelo is right up there.
Yeah, for
transition. I mean, he just does everything.
How many T-Wolves is 2 and a T-Wolves? The very first optimal we have. It's got. This is now I added some variants to it too, so maybe it's not everybody's very first optimal. The one I have is 3 Rockets, 4 T-Wolves, and Evan Mobley. The next one has 3. The next one is 4. The next one is 3. For what it's worth, it's Conley in the first one at a 30-point fantasy projection. Edwards, Anderson, Gobert. I don't think I play 4. I think I play 3 tops. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think 3 is the probably the correct number. I think you could get away with 4, but you'd have to have probably 2 bringbacks on the other side. It could happen, but I don't think it's optimal. I think 3 would be optimal, and you could also take an underweight for approach and go 1 or 2. That's fine as well, or none even. But I certainly want Anthony Edwards tonight. I certainly want Gobert tonight.
The Giannis update is no update. He's officially a game time decision. Pat Connaughton, who is doubtful, is officially ruled out with his calf. Mitch Robb, also a game time decision. Thanks for nothing, Tibbs. I do think he plays, but we'll see. And not that it matters a ton. I'm not considering their center. I'm not really playing New York guys as of right now. So anything else here that we should focus on? And how does Oubre muck stuff up for guys like PJ Washington? If you're considering PJ Washington,
I mean, and like Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll never catch me, but I can't say never because like sometimes
I talk poorly about him. He destroyed, and then I talk badly about Gordon Hayward. You look at his game
guy.
Yeah,
I've got so much Celtics baggage with him too. It's just like there's so many things where he was just like playing video games and also like his political beliefs. I was like, dude, work on your shot, like
all day. Like at some point he's got to have some downtime.
No down. You gotta want it. Kobe, you think Kobe was playing video games?
I don't know. I'm sure
all night on Twitch. You think Kobe Bryant?
Kobe was pre-Twitch.
Do you think he'd be doing that now though?
Probably not. No, he'd be reading. Kobe was a big reader. So yeah, I don't think he probably wouldn't be playing. COD with Kyler Murray or whatever. It's probably not happening. Okay, we're done with this game. Anything else of note, or shall we move on?
Yeah, just load up on this.
Brooklyn, Chicago, 222.5. Chicago is a 1-point favorite, 2-point favorite against the Nets. Spars, who's in and who's out here? Well, Chicago expecting to get Pat Beverly to make his debut. Yay. Get excited, Bulls fans. Ben Simmons is questionable with his knee. Doesn't matter. It's like, 15 minutes? Yeah, he's just a non-factor. Remember, like he was like one of the bigger stories in basketball. Now it's like doesn't matter. Who cares? Jay Cutler don't care. I'll tell you that much. This game, I don't know if I care about this game in general. Brooklyn and Chicago. The Brooklyn side, as far as ownership, Cam Johnson is getting the most at 13%. Whatever, I guess. But 3-and-D guy, it's a good three matchup.
It's just sad.
What's that?
Like they found like this diamond in the rough, Cam Thomas.
Yeah.
And now they're not even like trying to like he's out. He's out. He's going to get like 10 minutes.
Bridges is getting a ton of usage. It's small sample size. Then 30% is first.
I mean, Bridges is awesome. I love Bridges in general as a player. I loved him in college. I think he's underrated, believe it or not, even though everyone now he has him up there for defensive player of the year and whatnot.
I agree. But he's good.
But yeah, I mean, this is a good situation for him to shine, to bring all of his game out. But yeah, I mean, I just would be playing Cam Thomas more minutes with Clax. But what do I know? But Cam Johnson is the guy that's getting the minutes.
I mean, you're not seeking out Cam Johnson. If you'll land on him, I guess you'll play him. That's sort of where I'm at there. I don't feel desire to do it, but I don't think he destroys my team either. I think he's going to be okay. Chicago gives up, I believe, the third most made threes per game. Cam Johnson, that's his game. Hitting some threes, playing some defense, and that's that. That's basically Brooklyn's entire foundation, right? 3-and-D guys with DFS and Bridges and Royce O'Neal. Yeah. Interesting strategy for sure.
I mean, this is like, I'll tell you who one of my favorite plays tonight is, which is crazy.
Somebody on Brooklyn?
Is Claxton going to play? Claxton's going to play, right?
Yeah. There's no issue with Claxton, right? Unless I missed something.
Yeah. And he's gotten a price decrease because of two awful games before, one which was a complete blowout, the other which was foul trouble. But I mean, he's going to be not owned tonight whatsoever. And yes, it's tougher now with like more. No, it's not. It's actually, I mean, he doesn't have, I guess I'm just trying to think conceptually if like,
how much is Gobert? Basically a little bit more, essentially.
Another 1,000, but like you can play them both.
Yeah.
You can't play him with Şengün though. So, but Şengün could bust.
I'm conflicted on Şengün. I want to have that conversation because I think our projection is too hot on him personally, and I love Şengün. You know, I'm always touting Şengün. I think it's a little hot, and we'll get to it. We're really high on him. Like he's hitting optimals pretty hard. I guess he wasn't in that first one, but you know his projection was pretty strong.
Chat's loving Dinwizzle.
Is that Spencer Dinwiddie?
Yeah, it's his official nickname.
As of 2 seconds ago, he's fine, but like again, none of this stuff. You know, the matchup against Chicago is fine, but I don't have any priorities. I did, by the way, I did bet Bridges over 1.5 threes. That was one of the bets I made today.
Big prop betting. How's you've been? Did you bet all week? Did you bet on like college basketball or anything to pass the time?
No college basketball, because then that would probably.
Are you hanging out with? Are you with Grant? Or no, you're in Nashville.
I'm
Sorry,
you're
in
Nashville.
Nashville.
Yeah, Grant's in Colorado. I was on his show earlier today, though, Scores and Odds show. Feel free to check that out. For if you like such things as player props and player prop gambling, or just Scores and Odds in general, not just that show. That show is free, but the Scores and Odds product. Feel free to check that out for your gambling needs for all sports. I wrote up a couple picks. One of them was Bridges. Another one was, well, go ahead and read the article. How about that? I'll probably mention it later on in the show. We haven't talked about that player just yet. Yeah, I have a hard time getting the Bridges at 7-4, but I do think it's a good matchup for him. But, you know, there's no priorities. And as far as Chicago, everybody's healthy. You get him a bit of a discount on DeRozan at 7-8. We paid in the 9s before, but, you know, I don't love the matchup here against Brooklyn. They have a lot of good defensive wings. Again, everybody, Levine, Vuk, DeRozan are all healthy. I don't like there's no priorities for me in the Bulls. Is one of them going to get there? Possibly, maybe. Do I know which one it is? No. You got a Bulls take?
They suck. That's my take.
But Pat Bev's there, so he's going to turn the whole thing around.
Yeah, fire. I mean, honestly, somebody needs to light a fire into Zach LaVine.
What's his status? Is he a free agent soon? Because I thought he was potentially going to get traded. Did he sign?
I think he has a huge I think they signed him to a massive contract.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
A big mistake. But I mean, DeRozan would be the guy as long as he's back and healthy.
Levine is signed through 2026, 2027. He signed looks like 5-year, $215 million deal. And then, yeah, I don't know how I guess you can, it's not the worst contract in the world, but tough to trade him. He's still relatively young. He'll be 31 at the back end of that contract. But yeah, as we were saying, it's a big contract he has right now.
Yep. My interest just lies with DeRozan.
Okay. We shall move on. There are 3 more games left. Again, chat, feel free to throw out whatever's on your mind. Keeping an eye there on the chat. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications, do all the things, hit all the buttons. Before Roth has to come in here and like threaten you guys and let y'all know that, look, if there's not enough likes, we're going to shut the whole thing down. What was the line he used yesterday? He said, hit the like or take a hike. That's what Roth said. There you go. I don't know if that's an original. Roth like the nicest guy, but telling people to take a hike. OKC is facing Phoenix. Back half of back-to-back. They played overtime as well. They played in Utah last night. 228 is the total. Phoenix is a 9-point favorite. Midday downgrade for SGA. That obviously would really change things up if he doesn't go. Otherwise, they're standard. Phoenix, Durant not available just yet. Possibly this weekend, I heard. Maybe Sunday. We'll see. Stay tuned. But, you know, DFS, we care about tonight and tonight only tonight. No Kevin Durant. I bet Booker over on points tonight. I think he gets loose. I've been chasing this one. His minutes have been creeping up. I think we finally see like kind of a peak Booker game. You know, what was the points? I think 25.5 I bet over. Felt pretty good about that. I bet his alts as well. This is an ESPN game too, I believe. So I think we get a big-time Booker game, and I don't know how much ownership he's going to get. I feel like not a lot. But just throwing out a couple bets that I kind of dabbled in. If the people are curious, people are interested, there's one for y'all. And yeah, less than 10% for Booker, down to 8.7. I know the Dortcher Chambers on the other side. Curious your take as far as OKC and Phoenix.
Yeah, so I mean, I think SGA is probably not going to play if I had to guess, and if that's the case, this is a good spot. Obviously it increases blowout risk, but I think OKC is scrappy, and they play hard when they play. So Josh Giddey would be a really solid play if SGA sits. Jalen Williams, both Jalen Williams are in play. The center, the big center who usually wasn't very good, is now been playing better, earning more minutes. He played down the stretch last night. Again, I was watching because I bet on it. And so that was a good sign. Obviously, they had rebounding troubles against Kessler, Walker Kessler, but
how impressive with him last night? Kessler like 20, like eight swats, and that swat right to put the game in overtime.
Yeah, he swatted Isaiah Joe. Yeah,
that was already better than Rudy Gobert, possibly. At least where Gobert is today. Yeah, you can make an argument, I suppose, but that was just one thing that Utah gave. But whatever. I don't mean to sidetrack the show. Continue. Go ahead.
But I'm not worried about Booker too much with Dort. And it was nice to see him 35 minutes before the break. He's back ready to go now. I expect him to be full throttle. His price is going to start creeping up soon. So you can get on board tonight here in this spot. And I'll play this game. I'm not worried about a blowout. That's what I'm trying to say.
Are you saving anything as far as like position spots if SGA gets ruled out? Like, do we think that Giddey would get a bump? Maybe somebody with like a Trey Mann all of a sudden become a thing?
Yeah, he could be. Or
is it not? Is it going to be a collection of guys? And
it's always a collection with them. It's always a collection with them. But like I think the forward Jalen Williams probably gets a boost and probably sees more usage for sure if SGA is out.
But I know you're big on plagiarism and accusing people of being plagiarists. According to the chat, that's not a Roth. Supposedly hit the like or take a hike is from another show. Now I don't know. I can't confirm or deny, and certainly two people can go up with the same thing. It's it's original, but it's plausible. That sounds like something you can.
I think that demands some sort of investigation. At least.
I mean, I don't. If you
some questioning, I would think. I mean, I'm not the guy
for it.
I'm not the guy. I don't want to step on any toes here. I got my own weather system soon to launch.
You are the guy. You're stepping on Ross toes. You might as well step on more toes. Yeah.
I don't want him to see it coming when we get the full approval.
And I don't
think I'm starting to get psyched for baseball season.
Yeah, I'm excited. Baseball was being played today. There's some baseball on my timeline. Vinny Linguini, as you like to call him, hit a homer today. Get excited.
Vinny Linguini. What's today? Is it? It's
Friday. Yeah.
What's the Friday pot? There wasn't
one.
There was Manja Monday, Tortellini Tuesday. Was it? I think.
Yeah, but what's an F? That's is Italian.
Yeah, I don't know. Fusilli.
Fettuccine.
Fettuccine Friday. Yeah. Fettuccine Friday. Or fusilli.
Steve off the top rope. Yeah. So again, there's 3 10 o'clock games. Actually, one's 10:30. We'll get to it. Sacramento and the Clippers. But certainly you can backload rosters and figure stuff out and leave yourself some flexibility. Dort would be projected as far as the if then, although he had kind of like a minutes restriction to some degree. I guess he's coming off it, but on the back half of a back-to-back, I don't know if this game gets squirrely. He would be one of the first guys I think that would rest. And it's likely to get squirrely or potentially get squirrely if SGA doesn't go. He really makes his team go, obviously. Favorite play?
You know who led the Suns in usage the last game?
I'm going to guess it was Okogie because he was making a ton of shots.
It was a player that the RG projections team, who usually nails everything, wasn't even. They didn't really like the Terrence Ross play.
Oh yeah, he like 17 shots. That's right. Yeah,
they didn't think he was going to get some minutes. They weren't even sure if he was going to play. I remember it was the debate in the Discord that you're not. I still don't see in there, Dean.
I lurk. I'm a lurker when it comes to well, I don't know whether a conversation took place, but I do lurk in the where they're like having the conversation, deciding, figuring stuff out as far as the minutes? Is there several people?
Different. That's probably a private secret group. I'm talking about
I'm a lurker there.
I'm not, see, I don't even have access to there.
Well, I mean, I know a guy if you really want to lurk, but we can make it happen for you.
But I was talking about the with Yappy Mayor, Yappy Cappy.
You gotta at me.
Rupster, Roop Insurance, Dougie Buckets. We got all the gang in there.
Do we? How about Okogie? I know you mentioned Ross and.
He's been playing great. The minutes are there for him. I don't understand like how he's had any sort of offense, but he has. So
yeah.
He's a fine play tonight.
Okay. Anything else of note that we should point out as far as this game? By the way, like you could play SGA too if he plays. I don't think anybody's playing him, and he's awesome. Just of note, and that's a national TV game. I don't know if that would drive if he's going to play or not play, but just
I bet he was kind of banged up a little bit last night, and he played in the overtime, and he played 41 minutes. It would just make too much sense for him to sit.
Yeah, I was on the show today with the Scores and Odds show with Grant, and that news broke, and we both bet the Phoenix side live. So I'm really hoping that Phoenix that SGA doesn't play. Because he, like you said, he legitimately did hurt his ankle last night to some degree, played through it, but maybe things happen overnight, played a pile of minutes with the overtime. Question in chat. We got 2 more games to knock out. Of course, the Crunch Time crew. Y'all got Andy, you got Andre, you got Roth. You can make some accusations if you want, by all means, when he comes on in about 10, 12, 15 minutes, give or take. But a question in chat.
It sounds like Dean is spearheading these accusations, by the way. So make sure to preface that to Roth.
I just like to stir the drink and just kick back and watch. You're
a big stirrer, huh?
Who's your favorite center?
You know what they do to stirrers around in my block here, my neighborhood over here?
I've seen Good Will Hunting. I don't think it could be bad. I've seen a lot of movies, so I don't know how close you are. Are you in
see that track guy? You saw that track suit at the casino there?
I didn't see it. I missed the picture, but I'm interested. I don't want to mess with anybody in a tracksuit, for the record.
Can you see it now? It's up there now.
Oh, okay, hold on. Now let's pull up the video. I'm not messing with that guy.
Look at he's like 60. Look at him and look at the kicks.
That is life goals. I want you.
That's the dream right there. That's honestly that's not the dream. That's the path that I'm on.
Hey, Bobby Gomes in chat. Hey, Bobby, how's the diarrhea? He had some food poisoning. I don't know why I'm assuming diarrhea, but that's how that works, right? I think. Give us tell us, give us an update how that went down and what got you. Was it that famous Boston Chinese food that I heard so much about? Okay, let's talk about the Rockets. The Rockets and Golden State. 231.5 is the total. Golden State 10-point favorite here. Draymond Green is.
I have to interrupt you and answer Mr. Donk. He asked if that was me in the tracksuit. It was not me. That was somebody. I was at the Encore Casino the other night, and I happened to see him. He was like 60, and it was perfect timing to take a shot, and so show the my friends the people I was hanging with.
Yeah, I want to be a part of that crew. So yeah,
the casino is electric right now with sports betting. It's they got poker back. Poker's back full night. After COVID rules. So it's like.
Can you play live poker though? Isn't it so slow if you're playing online?
I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I don't have the time. Like I got to get I got to get in and get as much in as I can. I can't sit there and fold hands for an hour waiting for a good hand. I'll just play bad and force it. So yeah, I can't stomach it live anymore.
The Houston Rockets face the Golden State Warriors. So the Rockets give up the most attempted threes, the most made threes. The Golden State Warriors attempt the most threes and make the most threes per game. Hence, pool party. Jordan Poole looks awesome. Klay Thompson looks awesome. Plenty of threes on layaway. Draymond is officially questionable for what it's worth. The Houston situation, being without 2 of their top scorers, no Jalen Green, no KPJ. Who is going to start at point guard tonight? We're projecting Ty Washington. He's still minimum 3K. It could certainly be Deshaun Knicks. I wouldn't be shocked. Maybe I would be shocked. Yeah, it's not going to be Christopher. it's going to be one of those two. Şengün looks awesome because he gets so much usage. The offense basically kind of goes through him. He's sort of a point, a point forward, point center, if you will. But the efficiency of this team is going to take a hit, and I think Houston's going to give up a ton of points. And I'm just concerned that I don't know how much Houston can hang. Is kind of my issue here. But if we trust Vegas and it's a 10-point game with 3 minutes to go, that's everybody's playing their standard minutes, and that's that. Maybe I'm just being overly paranoid. But there's some cheap pieces on the Houston side. Şengün looks really good. Eason as a potential cheapie, especially if this game blows out. Ty Washington. Jayshawn Tate looks really, really usable as well at 4-1. That price is not fully adjusted to his current role. What is your official Rockets take? Because I'm kind of on the fence with them in general. And I kind of want to know the story with Draymond. I think he matters because the game will be more likely to be closer if Draymond does not go. And I assume Looney would jump into the starting lineup if that's the case.
Yeah, so I am playing this game. Like I'm not scared of blowouts. So and it's also looking more and more possible. So obviously they don't have Curry and they don't have Wiggins, who's out for personal. What do you know anything about the personal reasons? What's going on?
No,
I have no.
It's weeks apparently. They said it's going to be at least a week or two. Hopefully everything's all right with him and his family. I don't know the story, but yeah, I don't think it's like a child. That's maybe sometimes they say personal and they're having a kid. I don't think that's what it is, but hopefully all is well.
Man, that would probably have been a good bet earlier, but you would have lost money. But anyways, so I'm in on this game, and I think Şengün is. I mean, this is going to be baby Joker tonight. Like this, he has to be like this. The offense is going to just run through him. He's going to be their number one scoring option, and it's going to run through him. So give me him, and especially if Draymond is out, that obviously improves the situation. Also improves the competitiveness situation that's going on. I also love Jordan Poole. I think that Jordan Poole should absolutely nuke tonight in this spot. Like this is like the perfect game for like Jordan Poole to nuke. Yeah, I like all these guys. I think you're going to see a lot of Tate also, who Tate thinks he can do it all, right? You're going to see him like catch a rebound and try to go coast to coast quite frequently, and it's going to look really bad. And it'll be, remember when I say that, because that's definitely going to happen tonight.
He's got a little JaVale McGee in him.
Yeah, no, I mean he just thinks he's a little better than he is, and he's gonna feel like the veteran out there, and he's gonna try to take over is what he's gonna do. And I think he's a good play at 4,100. I think we should see more minutes out of him. Finally, I think he's eased back in fine. Kuminga, nobody wants to play Kuminga. The minutes have been down, but if Dre's out, Kuminga's going to shoot up.
Yeah,
for sure. And Clay, give me Poole over Clay for sure.
Clay's really expensive, but
yeah,
he's got to score 30 points because he's not going to get a ton of rebounds or a ton of assists, but he certainly can. He can make 8 or 10 threes against this team.
Wow, we've got a big rumor dropped in chat here, and I would worry about if I were Rad Dad Fanny Pack in chat. He's spreading rumors, but maybe it's true. But he heard that Wiggins owed money to the tracksuit guy, and unfortunately, that now makes you a rat. Though
he probably has the money if that's the case.
Rad Dad Fanny Pack.
That seems like I don't know what the credibility is of a Rad Dad Fanny Pack is on a given day, but
what's that? The ball. What's that NBA account that Ball Sack Sports that drops rumors,
and real news organizations retweet them with this is a real story, and yeah.
That's a brilliant
because it's just.
Because it's ball, and people might not even they just stop at ball and they're ready to what I mean. It's ball
Christopher Ty Washington, Tari Eason. You have a favorite cheapie on Houston?
Favorite cheapie? I mean Tate. I don't know. Honestly I don't know. I feel bad. I mean, it could be Ty. He could not even play a ton. The guy who's going to get forgotten about, it seems like here, is Jabari Smith.
Yeah, who's fine.
yeah, 5,800 is certainly fine with everybody out, and like he could do a ton. He's going to play huge minutes. So I mean, he's not the cheap one. So I mean, I would want one of the ball handlers probably. So either I think Ty or I don't know if they're going to play Knicks.
I like Ethan the most just because his fantasy points per minute. But again,
yeah,
he might
they're all
18, 20 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
He can play a little bit more depending on. A lot of interesting plays, a lot of cheap plays. Like DiVincenzo's a guy that's playable as well. Kuminga, especially if Draymond doesn't go. We do have one more game before the crunch time crew comes on. Do want to touch on that. Sacramento and the Clippers, 238.5 is a total. Sacramento is a 7-point dog here, back half of a back-to-back. We called it in the expert survey yesterday, triple-dub for Sabonis. They did everything they could to get him that, too. They're up like 30 or whatever it was. They still let him go. Yeah, they missed like 3 shots for him, but they were forcing that triple-double. He did get there. Sabonis cares about your triple-double bet. We're expecting Russ to play tonight for the Clippers, not just play, but starting for the Clippers tonight. This game,
I can't wait to watch this game. I honestly think like this is the perfect, like if there's one spot where Russ can succeed, it's this.
Okay.
With Kawhi, with Paul George, like they don't need he's so bad defensively, they don't need his defense, right? Like they've got solid defense all around. So like I'm interested to see how this works. And he's probably going to be horrible, like he has been for the last couple of years. But like if there's one spot that I could see this working, it's this. So I'm going to be watching this game, tuning into this game, and see how this all fits. And I think he's going to play big minutes tonight.
Well, yeah, he's expected to draw a start. You think he closes? I'm trying to think who else would close. Maybe Powell, and maybe it's game dependent too. If they're behind, if they're ahead, that kind of thing. You expect Russ to close tonight for the Clippers?
I mean, Ty Lue's making it sound like that's the case. He's like, we want Russ to be his old MVP self. It's like
we still can't roster him though, right? I don't want to say can't, but at 7-1, 7-2, he's going to be behind Kawhi, behind George, but also he's going to eat enough where those guys take a hit.
Yeah, he's going to take away from and Paul George's salary was looking nice if you didn't have Westbrook in the mix here tonight.
The most appealing play, at least according to our ownership right now, is the Plum Dog, the millionaire. He's 5.1K drawing the start there for the Clippers in the absence of Zubac. No Zubac tonight for the Clippers. As far as other body parts, who's in and who's out in this game, I think that's it. Yeah, Seattle fully healthy. The Clippers are getting Powell back as well. This game, I don't want to say it's an afterthought, but I'm having a hard time playing any Clipper. And, the Kings, whatever, if you want to play some Sabonis, I'm not going to besmirch. That's fine. Sure.
I mean, it's the only, so, okay. I want to play Plumlee. I think he's going to get minutes, but there's warts here, right? Like there's center is loaded, right? We've got Şengün, we've got Gobert, ridiculously priced. We've got other like good plays, I think, that like no one will play at low ownership, like with like Claxton, like who I like. But Plumlee's certainly in the mix with I'm sorry?
The game can go small, right? The Clippers are always
that's the big wart here, is that they're always itching to go small with like Keefe or with what's his name? Batum.
Yeah.
And it could make sense with Russ out there. He could, be going, they might just want to start pushing the pace here, especially with Sacramento, the way that they play fast. But I think it's worth the risk for Plumlee. I think that at 5,100, Zoo out, like he could absolutely smash. And, afterwards, because we started to poke holes, we missed like an obvious value play.
Yeah, Plumlee getting a good bit of ownership, kind of surprising, 19% as of right now. Of course, this stuff is fluid. It changes the closer we get the lock. Paul George at 13, Sabonis at 12, and everybody else getting like 5 or less on DK. We should be getting Andy and Andre and Roth momentarily. I assume they'll be jumping in. There's Roth right there on cue. There is Andre. There is Andy.
I hope Roth wasn't listening to the way that you stirred the pot with what was going on.
There were some allegations being had here, Roth, and I certainly wouldn't make any allegations, but let
me just preface this. I had nothing to do with this. You can go back and watch the tape. I said no way, and not this is And this is Dean stirring the drink here, but let him go ahead.
Well, let's hear it because I was not paying attention. So let's hear it.
Thanks for supporting the show. Did you at least hit the like button, Roth, before you jumped in?
I actually wait until my show gets going to hit the like button. That way, like my like.
You want the like? There's no official score for it.
We don't know that. We don't know what
That's
the
sharp.
analytics say.
That's sharp.
Yeah.
So it happens to revolve around the like button. Ironically enough, I was saying I'm a team player. I like to support the show. I was watching Crunch Time yesterday, and you were saying you said hit the like or take a hike. That's what you said. And like Kirkwood, somebody in chat said, cool, that was pretty good. That was pretty inspiring. Like Roth is a nice guy. I can't imagine you would make such a threat. And then somebody in chat's like, you know what? That wasn't an original. That's from another show. And I'm like, wow. I mean, more than one person can come up with that organically. So the question is that Kirkwood wants to know. He wants to know: is this an organic thought, or are you repackaging that from somebody else?
It's on loan. This was the quote. It was in the YouTube chat from our viewers. They're the ones who said, give it a like or take a hike. So okay. I was kind of giving an homage to our viewers, which is not stealing per se, but I didn't come up with it either.
That was a beautiful.
An homage to one of the viewers. So
yeah, that's all.
And any further questions, Kirkwood? Are you satisfied with that answer?
I think that's great. Exactly what the answer I knew I was going to get. Something high character, Kevin Roth. So yeah, great.
We got anything else? We're gonna let the boys do their thing here, Kirkwood. You want to step aside and get out of here?
I can't wait.
All right. Well, it's Andy.
Good weekend, guys.
Yeah, y'all have a good show. Let us know who to play for Houston. Your favorite cheapie. We're gonna stay tuned for that. Roth, at the start of the FanDuel sponsor Crunch Time. It starts now. Go for it, Roth.
It does indeed. Appreciate it, guys. Good stuff as always. I enjoyed the 30 seconds that I caught. But now this is the show. This is Crunch Time. It is sponsored by FanDuel, as the great Dino mentioned. And we are joined by two of the sharpest minds in the biz. One fresh off his relaxing vacation to Turks and Caicos on his private jet. It's Andy F. Means. What up, Means?
I'm rejuvenated. Roth.
Feels rejuvenated. Good, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I don't know, what do you compare it to? Like back when we were in school and like Christmas break, you're like, it feels like it's like 2 weeks or whatever. And you're like, oh man, I got back to school. But then once you get there, it's like you're just right in the flow. So like I feel like I didn't miss anything, man. Let's roll.
Very good. Yeah. And I believe this year the All-Star break was a little longer than normal, right? We had a few extra days.
They've been doing it like that for like maybe 2 or 3 years. They add a little on to the other side of the All-Star game, so people who are in the All-Star festivities have an actual break. So I think they've started that the past couple of years, yeah.
I enjoyed it. And then I got right back to it. I was giving out winners last night. My boy Jakob Poeltl smashing. I said, give me 100% Jakob Poeltl. And, that went all right. I didn't quite.
Because I was technically still on vacation. I did not watch. What was your reasoning for Jakob Poeltl? Because we wrote up a bunch of Precious Achua unders, so you just assumed that Jakob Poeltl was going to be the killer?
No, he just says he's played 2 games with his team. One of them he smashed, and his price tag was like $4,900 or something ridiculously cheap. Like,
oh my God, he's $4,900 last night?
Yeah, I think yeah. So TJ pointing out, he didn't exactly say that, Roth. You're right. I didn't exactly say that. I just said I'm playing the dude. Anyways, means we're excited to have you back. Get some cash analysis from you. And then we got the one, the only Drizzy Dre in the house with some GPP takes as well. What up, Dre?
What is going on? I'm doing well. Excited about this slate today. Excited about my bets as well. I think we're gonna, give a lot of winners all the way around tonight at RG.
Very nice. That's the game plan. Apparently, by the way, he was 5,700, 49.50. He was too cheap. That's the point.
Doesn't matter when you get like 60.
That's right. Don't matter to me. So guys, I'm excited to dive back into content, dive back into this slate. So let's talk about it. Means you want to zoom out a little bit?
Yeah, not much, man. That we have to whether we're waiting on. Giannis got the doubtful to questionable upgrade, so maybe he's going to play. It's not weirdly enough, it's not as big of a deal as we'd think because the sites were really aggressive and raising prices on the Bucks because they had so long. I would assume just because he hurt his wrist, that last game. and maybe they're just assuming he's going to be out. I don't know. And then he's expensive. So if Giannis doesn't play, there's like Bobby Portis is cheap on FanDuel. Drew's always a good play when Giannis is out, but he's like almost 9K. So nothing that's like earth shattering if either way that goes. SGA got the not a downgrade because they just released their injury report and he was on it. They played last night. He played like 41 minutes in OT, so he's questionable. There's not going to be a ton to like if he's out just because they play everybody. Like I like Giddey, like Dort, and then like maybe see who they start. Like if it's Trey Mann or something, he's cheap. And then other than that, it's like Draymond's Q. Like Kuminga would look a lot better, Looney would look a lot better, but not a ton going on. I mean, it's to be expected a little bit just because it's right after the All-Star break, but probably a little tamer 8-game slate than we normally have, so not a ton to be monitoring.
Okay, well, with that, let's just dive into a little FanDuel cash build. Worth noting, this show is sponsored by FanDuel, and you should make sure that if you're signing up for the FanDuel Sportsbook, if you're in a legal sports betting state, take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1K. Terms and conditions apply. Also, the FanDuel Single Entry Series, sponsored by RotoGrinders, that is back. Reserve your spot in the Friday NBA Block Contest. $10 to enter for your chance at $2K. Means.
All right. Point guard FanDuel, I like Jordan Poole at 8-3. If you're like playing a cash game and you're picking between like him, Brunson at 8-4, Chris Paul at 8-5, Roth, take your earplugs out. I would go Poole over Brunson. I would go Poole over Chris Paul. You can play both, or you can play two of those guys, or three technically, because Poole's at shooting guard eligibility. But that's who I would be playing up top, and then working our way down. You have Conley at 5'8" and Ty Washington at 4K. Don't like Ty if he doesn't start. So that's one thing you want to monitor as the night progresses is who's starting for the Rockets. That is generally it. I like Giddey will bump up a little bit if SGA's out. He's 7'5". He has point guard, shooting guard. Let's go to shooting guard. I have Ant tagged. I think he's the best spend on the slate. He's shooting guard, small forward, Poole's there. And then the cheaper stuff, Okaji at 5'8", DiVincenzo at 5'3". Wiggins is still out, Curry's still out. He'll look a little better if Draymond's out. So those guys, Gordon Hayward maybe at 5'6", Josh Christopher at 4'1". That is generally who I'm looking at. Shooting guard, small forward. Already talked about Ant. I have slow-mo tagged Kyle Anderson. He's 5'5". I don't know why, but it's been weird. Like if you looked from when Cat went out, however long ago that was, to today, I feel like Kyle Anderson's been in a 5K range damn near every game he's been on. I know there was a couple games on DK where he's in the 6s, but he starts at the 4 with no Cat. He usually plays low 30s minutes if the game is competitive. This matchup is just absurdly elite with Charlotte. I look at the NBA season, especially when I'm looking at team level stats. I look at everything in thirds. I look from opening night to Christmas to All-Star to end of the regular season, and then we just finished that second one. Charlotte was the fastest paced team in the league and at least bottom 10, maybe even worse than that defensively. So and we've been talking about it. I mean, you just know, listen to this talk on shows too. You see team totals, Minnesota has a 124 point team total. That's massive. I think they're in the 116 range or something, on average during the year. So love slow-mo for a cheapie. Kuminga, especially if Draymond's out, but he started at the 4 last night. He's almost certainly going to start if Draymond's out. They'll probably bring in Looney. So I really like him. We mentioned DiVincenzo. Then we have the cheap Rockets. Kenyon Martin's 5'8". He's fine. Maybe a little bit better on DK. Jayshawn Tate's 4'4". So I really like him. I think you're definitely going cheap here if you're not playing Ant. You can put him, somewhere else. You can put him in shooting guard if you need to. So I talked enough about Charlotte there to cover my whole time. Power forward, Slow-Mo has it. Jabari Smith at 5'6", Jayshawn Tate at 4'4". Mobley is probably who I prefer to spend on here. Ben Simmons is out. That doesn't really move the needle too much because he doesn't really play that much anymore. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, Mobley. So Mobley and Sabonis are your spend ups here. Like, I would prefer Sabonis over Randall if you're picking between those guys. Yeah, that's it. I give about four or five there. I think that's what I would be looking at. And then center. So I'd probably go a little against our projections here because we have Şengün as the clear play. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Like, if I was building a lineup, I would find the $400 and play Gobert against Charlotte. I just he's looked really good with Conley. Look at his last two games. He's played really, really well. They're running more actions like they did in Utah to get him. They basically run like PNRs, and Conley finds him. Like, he's just better at it than the guys they have now. And the matchup is just elite. Like I said, I think Charlotte's dead last in defensive efficiency against opposing centers. So, I would play Gobert. I think he's just way safer. Şengün's, the line moved a little bit in their favor because Draymond got downgraded, but there's always blowout risk with the Rockets. Like, they're just a tanking team. So, and Şengün's had below 27 or below fantasy points in the last 3 games. I would just rather play Gobert. People might disagree with that. Let's see, cheap stuff. Mark Williams at 5'7". Yeah, that's probably the only guy I'd consider, but I think you're playing one of those 7K guys. If you're not playing Mobley or Sabonis there, I think you're playing one of those 7K guys, Gobert or Şengün, and I prefer Gobert, and I'm done.
Very good. Okay. I feel like that was a good overall build here. Now we got to get some tournament thoughts. And for that, we hand it over to Dre. What's the winning formula here today?
So, there's a couple different ways to go, especially on FanDuel. There's a lot of guards I like today, though, for sure. Spencer Dinwiddie, I think, is in a good spot. He's done well against Chicago, scoring-wise and getting assist-wise, too. So he's someone I think that's in play today, even at 7-6 on FanDuel. And I don't even mind taking the shot here on Russell Westbrook. I know that sounds crazy to say, but if he's going to be starting and playing starters minutes, which is around 30 minutes, and it's a competitive game and an up-tempo matchup against Sacramento at 7-2, he's vastly underpriced because that means he can get a triple-double. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind taking shots at him on both sides, but FanDuel being 7-2, he's cheaper than a lot of these guards here that you want to try to get to. So I don't mind taking a shot at him for sure. I'm not a huge fan of these Rocket guards. Are kind of hard to figure out as far as minute-wise. Like Ty Washington, if he starts, he's a decent play in my opinion. I don't know. It depends on what you're looking for out of him. But I like my guys to get 30 fantasy points. I don't see the upside for him to do that much. So I would be kind of low on going with any of these Rocket guards. I would be targeting more a guy like Jayshawn Tate here in that spot. I do like Jordan Poole's price though, coming down from what it was yesterday to today being 8-3. I think that's a fantastic tournament play. I think you can also get Garland here in this game at 7:30 against Atlanta. And going against Trey Young, I think that's also a fantastic spot to go with too. Not a lot of people will be playing LaMelo Ball on FanDuel because he's 10-3. But if you want to run him out there and run him back with Anthony Edwards, since Edwards is going to be unpopular today, I don't mind that at all, especially since that's probably will be the fastest pace game on the slate. And I understand that you have Kelly Oubre back, but to me, that's just more opportunity for LaMelo to get more assists. And also with the pace being so high and so fast in this game, it's still going to lead to a lot of possessions where LaMelo should still be fine at that price. Going over to shooting guard, I don't mind taking some shots here. On a guy like Dante DiVincenzo. I think it's coming in fairly popular, but I think that might actually turn a little bit. Just because I know we got Terrence Ross here at 3.5. I think he might pick up a little bit more steam once they realize that he is getting minutes on this team. So Dante at 5.3, I think could be a little bit of an excellent play. But if it doesn't pick up steam with Terrence Ross, then I think Ross is also a fantastic tournament play as well. I don't mind. I know we got to worry about the ball a little bit, but Golden State has been up and down and playing to the competition. So you can even take a shot on Klay Thompson here in the spot here to have a big game. I don't mind that at all. And Zach LaVine as well, who I like going against Brooklyn. So that if we move on to the small forward position, we just got news. I know that the Torian Prince is out. So Kyle Anderson is probably a lock. Like just probably lock him in that game, in that matchup, in that pace. So I just, like I said, press that lock button for sure. I love that spot for him. I also don't mind going back to a guy like Mikal Bridges at 7-8 here. We saw his upside when he is like the man on the team or the second option, whichever one you want to say, back in Phoenix and also on Brooklyn. I'm not saying he's going to have 45 again, but he can still have a good game in this matchup, being that he's going to take more shots. And with Fanduel having the 3-point bonus for steals and blocks, he could rack up a lot here against his team in Chicago. So I don't mind that. Kyle Kuzma is a good play too. I think he's always killed the Knicks, played really well against them. Dating back to last year, I wrote that up also in scores and odds for his over and rebounds, but I think he's a fantastic play in tournaments that is hardly going to be owned and going to go a little bit overlooked here. My favorite Houston guy is kind of like Jason Tate. He's not getting a lot of ownership, 15% only, but I think just the upside that he has here to be kind of like a main ball handler here, even though they have the guards here, and play a lot of minutes. I like him more than anyone else. Or even if you want to run KJ Martin out there too as well. I don't mind him either. Going to I'll combine power forward and small forward so you can hurry up along quickly here. Bam is expensive, but I do love him today. I think that he's in a fantastic spot. Don't want to also forget about Nikola Vucevic. I think he's a fantastic play as well. 8.8K is cheaper than Bam, and he has had very, very, very good games against the Knicks. Against the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm just giving you options to get off of a guy like Rudy Gobert, but has 7-9, and he's going to be a fantastic play. So to me, those are the plays I do like over here. I also, for power forward wise, I mentioned KJ Martin. He's small forward, but I would use him probably more so in the power forward role as well. I think he's a fantastic play here too. If Giannis does not play, Bobby Portis is 6'4" on FanDuel. So to me, I would pay attention to that news. I think that news is very important. Bobby Portis would be a smash play. To me, even his first game back, I'm assuming he's going to play a lot of minutes here if Giannis ends up being out. So I would maybe take some tournament shots on him as well.
Okay, very good. FanDuel covered. Make sure you're signing up for the FanDuel Sportsbook. Make sure you're also getting in that RG single entry series. Means let's kick it to DK. I started my build. I locked in my boy Brunson. Now I need help from there. So walk me through your thoughts.
But you don't need to talk about point guard then.
No,
so
yeah, we're good there.
Yeah. I still like Poole. He's 8'3". You can play him at shooting guard if you want. I like Garland at 7'7". Anytime that dude's under 8K, I don't care if they're fully healthy like they are. I've said it before. I love playing like 7K guys who like 50 is not it's not a big deal. Like they can get 50 and it's not like a 2% outcome. It's like a 15% outcome or something. It's like I like him at 7'7". Let's see here. Ty's been priced. So again, you want to make sure he's starting, but I also think he's probably it's tough to say. Like I want to say he's blowout proof because you would think that he would be playing at the end if it's like way out of hand, but also I could see a scenario where he's the reason they're getting blown out. So the coach is like, sit on the bench.
Yeah.
So like it's like a teaching experience, even though he needs the minutes. So I don't know. He's 3K. So I would play him in cash games if he starts. I wouldn't feel good about it, but I would do it. So that's basically what I'm looking at, those 3 or 4-ish guys. I think I mentioned 3. And Conley would be the other like mid-tier-ish guy. He's 5'7". Usage has been really down with Minnesota. It's not – if you take away the last game, which was like really, really down, it's like 7%. It hasn't been like crazy down compared to like what he's doing in Utah. So like maybe it corrects itself a little bit. He's cheap. The matchup is good. So like that's why I would play him, because he's cheap and the matchup is good. I'm not encouraged by what you see from when you look under the hood, but he's cheap. So those are 4 guys. That's probably what I'd be looking at. Let's look at shooting guard. Pool's there. Then you have the cheap Houston guy. Or I'm sorry, Ant's there. Also, he's shooting guard, small forward. So those 2 guys are the expensive guys I'd like. I'll throw Booker's name in the mix there right behind. But then the cheap stuff you're looking at is probably the Houston guys. Jayshawn Tate at 4-1, Christopher at 3-3. And then kind of in the middle there, 2 guys I mentioned over on FanDuel, DiVincenzo and Okaji. So, yeah, that's about it.
Means are you
right,
okay with playing all of this Houston value in a cash lineup? Like, what is it? Ty, Tate, Christopher. Can you play all those dudes, or is that just too many eggs in the cheap Houston basket?
Someone's got to play. So, and they're all so cheap. I'm not like, you can tell like I'm kind of mentioning them as like guys to round it out. I'm not starting with any of them.
Gotcha.
Like what I would be doing is like, if I was building out my lineup, I would put Poole in one of the guard spots. I put Ant in at small forward. I put Slow-Mo in at power forward. We'll talk about Rudy Gobert at center. That's what I would be doing. And then as I'm getting to these guard spots and forward spots, I'm like, all right, well, let's see what I need.
What do I have left? Yeah.
Ty, okay, Jayshawn Tate. Yeah, then I would play like 2 of them, maybe 3 of them, something like that.
Okay.
And just like bring it together. But good
Don't
question.
Start your build.
It's just like, yeah. I will say this, someone's going to do well. Someone has to. Like, they're so cheap. Like, unless it's just an egregious blowout, which is on the table. And they do have a lot of guys, but like they want to develop the guys they're invested in. So they're going to give them as long of a leash as possible. And they're cheap, man.
Yeah.
So I would imagine a handful of guys like pay off pretty well. So like, I'm not just, I mean, you don't want them to go overboard, especially in like tournament lineups either, unless you're like bringing it back with Warriors or something. But yeah, they should be all right. But good question. Cause I'm guessing a lot of people were maybe a little skittish about playing guys they have never heard of or something like that. So, let's see. I think I was moving to small forward. Slow-Mo, Ant, and then cheap Rockets. I'm like a broken record. Eason's here. I really like Eason just because he's so good per minute. I heard Dean talking about that. But like if you take off KPJ, Jalen Green, and the recently departed Eric Gordon, he's like, I don't want to say by far, but he's meaningfully the best per minute guy. He just doesn't always get a lot of the minutes. So he does a lot when he's out there. We have him projected for 22 minutes. He could blow this price tag out of the water if he runs out on minutes, if he runs out on efficiency, and then he's getting like 40 if he does both. So I think he's fine. KJ Martin's here at 5'4". I feel like Christopher's there at 3-3. I would prefer Eason just a little bit. Jayshawn Tate's here at 4-1. There's just like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I have a favorite out of any of these people. I just think they're all in consideration just because of their cheapness. But like I've already alluded to it, so much of what will happen tonight is predicated on how well they play. Like if the guys are in are playing well, the coach is going to let them keep playing more. If they're getting worked, he's going to bring in another unit, and if those guys are playing well, he's going to play them more. So it's like it's almost like exacerbated. Like that's why the range of outcomes are so wide on these guys, because minutes and performance is just so up in the air. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say like I definitely like one over the other. So they're just all in the mix. Let's see. I think I mentioned Okaji at shooting guard, and then I think the only other guy I'd mention, if you just don't want to deal with it at all, like I don't think this is a terrible idea. Just play Jaden McDaniels, playing another Timberwolf. Like he's 4'7". He's going to play probably 30 plus minutes. Like just play him and said, don't deal with the Houston mess. He projects basically equal to these guys on a per dollar basis to just play one of those dudes. I'll mention one thing I want to mention. Not someone I'd probably play in cash games just because a little bit of uncertainty, and I like other players in this range a little better. But DeMar DeRozan's only 7'8". Like, I know he missed the last couple of games before the break with that hip injury. But like, if you go back at his game logs and look when he was out with injuries just a handful of times this year, he came back and played like upper 30s minutes right away. Like, they don't mess around with minutes restrictions for him. And he's coming off the All-Star break, so he's probably ready to roll for normal minutes. That's a really cheap price. This dude was like upper 8s, I believe. Like, going
that
into,
fits right into your build of I like guys in the 7K range that can drop 50
exactly
at all surprised.
Right.
He is that guy. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those slates where we don't have Luka, we don't have Jokic, we don't have Embiid. We might have Giannis, but I mean, we're not reaching for Giannis if he plays. Like, man, jam in that 7K range. I love that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's enough on small forward. Power forward, I don't need to go into too much detail because I've already talked about most of these guys at small forward. You got Slow-Mo there. That's probably who you're playing because then you can play like, a Rockets guy at small forward or Ant there. Or there's a lot of ways you can go. Mobley's here. Another Rocket, Jabari Smith is here. Jaden McDaniels is here. A bunch of Rockets are here. Don't need to go into any more detail than I've already talked about because we already know the names. So center. Similar situation to what I said on FanDuel. I would play Gobert over Şengün. You can play both on DK. So that's a win if you were him and Han to play both of them, and I think that's absolutely viable. Surprisingly enough, a lot of the best plays here are only center eligible. Usually we have at least some power forward eligibility in here. Like Mobley's the only guy, but there's some other decent options, I suppose. Like Sabonis on a different slate probably is worth getting up to. I like those other guys in the 7K range better, so you're probably not going to be able to get them. Capella at 5'9", like Plumlee at 5'1". These guys are okay. Just names I'm throwing out there because they look okay, but I would be playing those 7K guys in cash games. So that's it, I think.
Very good. Okay, let's talk tournaments on DK. Dre, what is different about your build on DK as opposed to FanDuel?
Well, a little bit. It's a little bit different. Not a lot, but more so like some of these guys that I'm trying to debate on. Some of these guys I want to take some risk on here versus not on the other side. So not on FanDuel. So like for instance, DraftKings, I do kind of like Trae Young over here at 9.6. I know it's expensive, but I just think with this new coach, maybe the whole team has some more energy, it gets more excited, and starts and plays well and plays well for the coach. So I don't mind taking shots on him or DeJounte Murray here. I love Means' call about Darius Garland. I love him today as well, especially on DraftKings at 7.7K. That is just too cheap for him. Mike Conley's an excellent play too, but at 5'7", the probably definitely cheapest I would go at the guard position. I think I'm going to have a hot take and just not play anybody on Houston. It might come back to burn me, but I highly doubt it. Just from playing the probabilities and the odds and just how they have played without these two guys over the season, it doesn't bode well for anyone. So I don't think I'm going to need anyone tonight unless they get like 25 or 30, which I don't know if that's a possibility with them going to have everyone playing here in this spot. I do like Terry Rozier. I also like Josh Giddey. I mentioned Spencer Dinwiddie before too as well. I think that's a good option. I don't think LaMelo is too expensive on DK. 11K is just a little bit too much rich for my blood on this site, so I wouldn't play him there. So like if you're running it, like having like for instance, I love Gobert tonight. I love Edwards and I love Kyle Anderson. That's at least 3 Timberwolves right there. So I might want to run it back with a guy like Terry Rozier instead. So I think that he's a fantastic play, especially just to get a little bit different, and also the ownership wise too as well, to have a little bit of a mini game stack and the highest total game with this on the slate here. I mentioned Josh Giddey more so because that's just in case that Shai doesn't play. Because I was looking on the books before I got on the show. Shai's props were up and then they took him off. So unless they know something that I don't know and think he's not going to play, I would just try to jump on Josh Giddey at that 7.5K price tag here that we have him at. I do like Okaji as at the 5.2 mark here. 5.2K. Jordan Poole, an excellent play here as well. Zach LaVine, 6%. I love him too. Small forward wise, Paul George is a little bit too cheap. I don't know how popular he's going to be, but if he's going to be 13% or less, which I think he definitely will be less, I love him today at 8.2. Like I said, against Sacramento, which would be a little bit of an exciting game here. I also don't mind taking a shot. I want to play Chris Middleton on DK just for the 3 points, and because I think it was actually against Miami where he played 20 minutes and had like 40 fantasy points a couple of weeks ago. So Miami's not good at guarding the 3-point line, and if Chris Middleton plays and Giannis plays, and he ends up just shooting a lot of threes here, that's a guy I definitely don't mind taking a shot on if you're running like 150 lineups. Not nothing if you're running like very few and far between. Like I mentioned before, I think they had a question about Kyle Anderson. I personally think he's a lock. So if you want to play him, I play him today a lot. Kevin Love being 3K, I want to talk about that briefly. He's going to play about 20 minutes, which is going to be good, but I want to see the rotation, how he's going to play with Miami here. I know he's a little bit of a liability defensively, but he also can stretch the floor out too well and be a great guy to catch and shoot. So I would not play him this game because I don't think his fantasy output is going to be that high. But I think like after you get like to see how he plays with Miami with the rotations and how they play, he'll be a good play after that. I don't mind taking a shot here also on Kuzma at the power forward position, and Kuminga also is a viable option if this game gets out of hand. So I don't mind him as well. And center, pretty much the same centers that we mentioned before. Vooch, Gobert are my top 2 centers here on the slate. And followed by Bam, and then I like Ayton here as well.
Okay, very good. Anything you boys feel you need to add here? We got about 8 minutes until lock. The questions are coming in. Hit that like button, give a like, or take a hike if you're watching on the YouTube. Means anything you want to add before we dive into some QQs?
No, let's roll.
Okay, let's do it. I am taking questions, of course, from our RotoGrinders Discord. That's where all the cool kids hang out. But also, we're going to be in the YouTube section. It's Friday, party people. Enjoy it. Let's get going. Let's dive into some of these QQs. Scrolling up just a wee bit here. Dre, this is a GPP question on FanDuel. I'm getting to 50% Kuminga and Josh Christopher. Is that way too much ownership? Question from Caton.
I don't think it is for Kuminga, but Josh Christopher, yes. Josh Christopher was a great play last year, in my opinion, or last 2 years ago, I want to say, because he played a lot of minutes. He hasn't been getting a lot of minutes this year whenever everyone's been out. I would have expected him to play around like 25 to 30 minutes, but he's been playing like maybe like 22 the most. So, yeah, no.
Okay. Means this is a cash question. And it's a 2-part question, but there's 2 parts to each question. So this person cleverly squeezed in 4 questions in this. All right, you ready? It is how many Rockets and how many Minnesota guys are too many in cash? Also, if SGA is out, do you like Giddey and Man in cash?
I'll start on the end. Man, I do like Giddey in cash if SGA's out. I'd like Man if he starts. So that one's that. There goes that one. Timberwolves for sure. 3 is good. Jaden's 4. So I think 5 would be too many for Timberwolves. And then Houston, how many is too many for Houston? I mean,
1.
2.5. I'd say like 2 cheapies and a Şengün. So like 2.5, maybe something like that.
Okay. Very good. Good answers. Yeah. No, that's good. Let's see. If Giannis misses, how do you rank your boy J-Rue? This is FanDuel Cash means your boy Drew, Middleton, and Portis on FanDuel Cash. I feel Portis gets the biggest bump. But maybe I'm making
really, he's the one who didn't get a price hike either. So
yeah.
I would do Portis 1. Middleton, if he starts, they haven't been starting him. Maybe they do. And then Drew, just strictly because he's like almost 9K. And I'm sure I'm not the first one to say this either, but like the line movement just screams that Giannis is playing. Like they're 4-point favorites now. Like I think they were like 1 or 2 point dogs before that news came out. That line's moved like 5 or 6 points. Like I think he's playing.
Okay. It's a good note. All right. DK Cash, do you feel the same about Şengün on DK as you did on a FanDuel? You did. Your answer was that he's a fine play, but Gobert is your preferred option. He's even cheaper than Şengün on DK.
He is. I was more adamant about it on FanDuel because you can only play one. And like that's why I would for sure play Gobert over Şengün over there. I still like Gobert more than Şengün on DK, but you can play both if you really want to. So, but yeah, I do prefer Gobert over Şengün on both sides.
Okay, I'm jumping into the YouTube just because Ronnie says, "Can I play Mr. Triple Double in cash?" I have no idea who that is.
I mean, it's got to be Sabonis, right?
I have for Westbrook.
I was thinking Westbrook.
Jesus.
I thought Westbrook.
Whew.
If it is Westbrook, can you play Westbrook in cash? Because I do have a little taste of him in GPPs. No.
I would not play him in cash, not by a long shot.
All right. DK Cash means Phoenix guy least likely to tank a lineup. Okaji or Booker? That's pretty much it.
Tough one.
He said least likely?
Yes. Who is the
likely to tank a lineup?
Least likely to blow up your whole lineup?
I'll say Okaji just because he's cheaper, and I cannot believe I'm saying that about like a 5'8" Okaji, but like he's basically playing the Bridges role now. Like he plays like 40 minutes, guards the other team's best defender, or I'm sorry, the other team's best scorer, and get some shots up while he's out there. So like if you're gonna play that many minutes, like I go Okaji. Can't believe
Very
it.
good. Aside FanDuel single entry, this is a 2v2. Kuminga and your boy Gobert, or Barnes and Crab Şengün, which I believe is a pun off Crab Rangoon or whatever.
Rangoon?
Yeah. Very nicely done. Kuminga, Gobert, or Barnes Şengün. FanDuel single entry, Dre.
The one without Şengün.
Okay. Very good. Raymond, FanDuel GPP, right back at you, Dre. 3v3. Mobley, Harry Barnes, and Ross, or RJ Barrett, DiVincenzo, Kuminga.
Mobley, Harris, and Ross.
Mobley. It was Mobley, Barnes, and Ross.
Barnes,
Barrett, DiVincenzo, Kuminga.
That's tough because I really like Ross today as a sneaky GPP play. I'm gonna ride with that because I think Mobley can play well down low against this team without John Collins too.
Okay, very good. DK Cash means from Fit Crooks, Goober, or Mobley.
I would play Gobert.
All right, very good. FanDuel GPP last piece. Cam Johnson or DiVincenzo?
Give me. That's tough. Give me Dante.
Okay, nice. See, Danny says FanDuel Cash means you said Mark Will okay for cash of center, or do I need to lock in Gobert? I feel like Gobert was your choice.
Yeah, Williams okay if you're shopping down there, but I would play Gobert.
Yeah. DK GPP, Dre, you getting any Ross or Love in a large field? You briefly discussed your Love feelings.
Yeah, and I'm a Heat fan, so
tell us about your Love feelings, Dre. I want to hear all about that after the lock.
Yes,
I explained all that after the lock. How about to walk that out in a couple months, 2-0.
Hey, are you getting any?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't say that. You getting any Ross, Dre?
I have to manually get him because from what our projections don't really like Ross a lot, which I don't understand why. He's gonna play 25 minutes. So but I like Ross more than Kevin Love today.
Very good. FanDuel GPP, right back to you, Dre. Tate or Harry Barnes?
I'm gonna go Barnes.
Okay, less than 2 minutes until lock here. FanDuel GPPs, is JaMychal Green okay as the last piece to make everything else work if Draymond is out?
No, go another route.
Okay, fair enough. FanDuel single entry, Poole or Garland?
Ooh, that's tough. That's really tough. I'm gonna say Garland.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Garland.
All right. On DK means Jabari Smith and Ty or DiVincenzo and Christopher.
I guess the first one. I don't feel great about either. That's all Houston.
Yeah. All right. DK Cash back to you means Booker Christopher or Eason and Pandemic P.
Not Pandemic P. I'll do the Booker one.
Okay. Less than a minute until lock. Make sure you guys are good to go. Paul says, is Plumlee in the YouTube chat the best center for his price? Gobert is the best center for his price, I believe.
Yeah, I think Plumlee's like in that range too, isn't he? No, Plumlee's in the 5s. Never mind. That was old Plumlee when he was with Charlotte. I forgot about that. Yeah, I still think Gobert's the best center for his price. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. What are thoughts on Josh Christopher in general? YouTube chat. This might be the last question. Means not like as a human, but as a play tonight, as it pertains to tonight.
He's cheap. I mean, you got to run well on minutes, efficiency, or both. And yeah, I mean, he's cheap.
Very nice. Okay. We've hit the lock, chicken or the egg. Dre, you get 10 seconds to answer life's oldest question, chicken or the egg?
I have never heard that question before in my life, so I don't know what to pick.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, what came first? Oh, that's kind of hard. I would say the chicken because you have to have a chicken to make an egg.
But you have to have an egg to make a chicken.
I don't know.
You will now be thinking about that for the rest of your life. I'm glad I could end it on that. All right, we are jumping here. I'm going to jump into the Discord real quick. Here it is post-lock, but got a couple questions coming in. Means DK Cash, do you have any interest in Love as a last piece? It lets me get literally everything in the world that I want.
I mean, I get it, but you have to, I mean, this is the first time he's played with this team, and you have no idea what his role is going to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could play like 12 minutes. So, like, I mean, you have to be okay with that. Like, I probably wouldn't do it just because I can find there's enough cheap stuff that's better. Like, I don't know if you can work around the position stuff and like play Ty instead, and he's 3K. Like, I'd rather play him just because I know the minutes are safer. So I know Love's obviously better per minute, but
well,
I wouldn't do it, but I get it if you would.
This just in. K-Love is starting.
Play him.
Oh, now I would play him.
Yeah. There you go. That changes things
way different. Now we know his role. His role is the starting power forward.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that answers the question. Yes, absolutely play him. Meansy, where does he rank now? Is this a guy who you want to get to in cash, or is this just if?
Oh yeah, on DK I would play him in cash for sure now because he's starting. That's like it's the information game. We just got a huge piece of information that he's starting. Like that's a big deal. What is his price on? He's 3.9 on FanDuel. Curious to see. I'm peeking our Slack and see what they're talking about moving his minutes to before we sign off here. I would guess they're not saying anything yet, but I would guess they're going to put him in the low to mid 20s, maybe 24. That's just off the top of my head. I don't know. So he's going to look good at 3K. I'll say that. Yeah, he would be one of my favorite G plays now.
Okay, very good. Good note to maybe close things out on with that. So with that said, I think we are going to bounce on out of here. For Means, for Dre, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. Hit that like button on your way out. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.